All right, so I'm gonna continue.
Sick about it is that our defense played so well, and you say, you're going to be in the Super Bowl and your defense is going to hold the New England Patriots to 13 points and you guys aren't going to win. It's like, how? And that's the part that you kind of keep replaying in your mind, is how that can even happen.
It's a grieving process.
And this is the problem. This is also another issue with the Rams. Jared Goff and Sean McVay have a super close relationship. And I'm not talking about like a really good coach-quarterback relationship. I'm talking about when they're not working in the offseason and they're not practicing or doing anything, Jared Goff and Sean McVay are probably hanging out, are probably going out places. They're probably friends off the field, outside of the facility. They're probably friends. They look like they're probably friends. I mean, and I'm not going to say that they're close in age, but Sean McVay's not very old. He's in his 30s, I believe. And, Jared Goff's in his 20s. I mean, I do know people that have, like, friends in their 20s where their friend is, like, they're in their 20s and their friends are, like, almost 40. I have seen relationships like that. So it's not like that's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think that's a problem, man. And this is where they get it fucked up. You think you could be the friend. It's kind of like that old adage with parenting, where you have to be the parent. You can't be the friend, because when you're the friend, it kind of complicates your relationship a little bit. And your kid loses respect. I'm not talking, that's not applying to Jared Goff. But they're a little bit too close, man. You got to keep it professional, keep the focus, man. This is why when I watched a few videos of the New England Patriots Super Bowl runs or championship seasons, and I watched post-game stuff of Bill Belichick, and the Patriots could come out and beat the shit out of somebody 45-10, and as soon as he starts to speak in the locker room, he says, there was a lot of sloppy things out there. We need to fix them. Otherwise, the next team will exploit what the problem is and we'll get our ass kicked. So we need to fix these issues. You just beat somebody by 35 points, but you're talking about there were a lot of problems with the way y'all played. That's how you keep it in perspective, man. You keep them focused. I don't know, man. I think that buddy relationship, like the same thing that happened to Pete Carroll, I believe could happen to Sean McVay if he's not careful. And Sean McVay looks shell-shocked, man. He looked way too... Dude, you got to have a dog in you, man. You have to have a dog in you being an NFL head coach, man. You have to be able to fight. And it just looked like during the game, Sean McVay gave up, man. Sean McVay gave up. And the reason... And a subsequent penalty for that, for him giving up was then Jared Goff didn't know what to do. Jared Goff wasn't able to lead his team after that. I mean, once Sean McVay completely checked out, Jared Goff was right after. Shit, Jared Goff might have been before. Who knows, man? Like, I mean, I saw Jared out there, but he's way too dependent on Sean McVay. It's just a lot of structural issues with the way that they're I don't know, that system that they have in place, the way it works, it's just too many flaws in it. And Bill Belichick exposed a couple of those flaws, man, and it just completely derailed them. And they just didn't perform anywhere near what people thought they were going to perform, man. But the one thing Sean McVay has to do is he has to fix his relationship with those players. And what I mean by that is he has to be a coach. Don't be a friend, be a coach. Don't be relatable, be a coach. You have to demand more of somebody than they are willing to demand of themselves, man. And that's just how it is. But let's finish.
Yes, David Carr, and I bet that Maurice Jones-Drew is going through it to a degree. A member of the Rams broadcast team. He's around the team all of the time. What happened?
A lot of things happened in that game. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Rams organization, because I've never made it to a Super Bowl, so that was fun just being there and being involved with the players. But when I went back and looked at the teams that defeated the Patriots, they were all aggressive. And that's where the Rams were. In certain situations, you have to be aggressive, and you have...
When the New York Giants in 2007 beat the New England Patriots, It's like the offensive line of the Patriots didn't know how to handle that. Like, they didn't know how to handle that level of intensity from Michael Strahan, Osi Umenyiora. They didn't know how to handle that. And then in 2012, and honestly, in 2007, and I keep saying this, but you know, people think that I'm just, you know, oh, you're just making excuses. All right, on that final play that the Giants had, where Eli threw with the plexical burst, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people has had that thought. Why would you put a 5'9" cornerback on a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver? In what universe do you think that shit will end up well? And you're talking about on the goal line. That's basically like a tight end, man. And you put a 5'9" corner on him. But, you know, let's go to 2012 when they beat the Patriots again. They hit him in the mouth, man. I think the first play of the game for the Patriots was a fucking safety. I mean, they were just super fucking aggressive. And that Philly game was extremely complicated. I honestly believe Bill Belichick just said, fuck it, I'm not coaching, because you saw no adjustments whatsoever. Usually you'll see adjustments during the game. You saw no adjustments from Bill Belichick. So I kind of like just adopted the belief that he just refused to coach anything. He'll call plays, but he ain't going to make adjustments. He's not going to coach anybody. You didn't see any of that. And you didn't even see Tom doing anything like that. Like, late in the game, when you usually hear Tom rallying the troops, you didn't hear anything like that. And it looked like they were avoiding each other on the sideline. So that game was... So I don't think really... Philly just took advantage of the division in New England. But Jesus Christ, that Rams game, Jesus Christ. I said like two different teams just now. That Rams game was just proof that New England can beat anybody whenever, wherever. If you didn't believe the Chargers, if you didn't believe the Chiefs game was enough evidence to show you that New England could win whenever and wherever, because they're just that much better, then that Rams game was definitely the thing that did it, man. And it sounds super cocky, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just stating the fact. Like, sometimes the thing you hate the most, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but the thing you hate the most sometimes is what you would need to be a better you. And the way New England is what a lot of teams need to do. Like, Bill Belichick should really write a book on what his system, like once he retires, what his system is comprised of, what you have to do, the certain principles you would have to adopt, and incorporate that into what you do to make you more successful, man. Because this dude, he's the greatest. In my opinion, he's the fucking greatest. And there's no getting around it. So...
to take chances, and hopefully they work out for you. There was a play, we have an Excel, it's 4th and 3 here, and I'm not a quarterback guy, but regardless of this situation, I was going to go for it if he didn't get it. Now, Jared Goff is looking at Brandon Cooks, and he may think the corner is going to slough off and take the flat, but he doesn't. They get bundled up. He's wide open. He tries to throw it to Robert Woods. But guess what? It's 4th and 3 at your own 41. Go for it instead of trying to punt the ball in this situation. Find another play to try to get your team going, because you never know. You may not ever be back in this situation, which it was hard to get because that defense was playing so well. So, you know, when you look at last year's Super Bowl, the way the Eagles were aggressive and how they went after things, and they were taking shots downfield, and they were doing different things and running trick plays, you kind of have to get in that mode in the Super Bowl to try to defeat a team that has 2 weeks to look at what you're doing.
There were a couple situations where if they had like 3rd and 2s also, right, where they ended up taking big sacks, and then Sean McVay, you know, he probably would have, or at least he would have hoped that he would have gone for it in those situations, but he was kind of...
Well, there was a 3rd and 22 where it was like, go downfield, and they handed it off to Todd Gurley for, a gain of 1 or something.
I understand why he did that, because in that situation, you don't want to make it any worse than what it is, right? You want to kind of limit your exposure.
That was late in the game, and they needed points. I think it couldn't have gotten any worse. They needed points.
Well, if you were to try to throw the ball, sack, fumble, it would have been much worse, right? So you have to kind of play the game within the game, and I understand that scenario, but when you're in those 3rd and shorts, you got to find a way to get those first downs. Yeah. It just seems like they couldn't get anything going on Sunday.
Is Gurley hurt?
I've talked to multiple people that said Gurley's not hurt. I spoke with him after the Saints game. He said he was completely fine. I just felt like going into that game, they felt like their receivers were better than their DBs. They wanted to attack them down the field. Now, attacking down the field, they had some good things going, and he had some great runs in this game. Hopefully they show one where he breaks the long one. He had two long ones. One guy called back for holding. And so it just happened. Like, this was not Gurley.
So what Maurice Jones-Drew is saying is the same thing that I'm thinking. I don't believe he's hurt. I didn't believe he was hurt at the time. I just think that he wasn't playing well, and Sean McVay was just coming up with excuses for why he wasn't playing well at all. But anybody that pays attention to the NFL knows that Todd Gurley is extremely inconsistent, man. He has these years where he just completely falls off. But then he has some other years where he's super effective. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, you don't have to lie about it to protect the player. I mean, you don't have to lie about it. Just say he had a down year. It's unacceptable, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure it doesn't happen again. You know, but let's get back to it.
I don't think Gurley was hurt. I don't think anything. The Patriots played really good defense at the end of the day. I feel like it had nothing to do with what the Rams were doing.
Took away what they wanted to do with Gurley. They took away what they wanted to do with Goff.
Yeah.
3 for 10 on third down. It's hard to win a game if you can't keep the chains moving.
Yeah, it was difficult, and you heard Sean McVay mention that. It's like we didn't get enough opportunities. Like, he had only 10 carries, but we were off the field. Like, Edelman on the other side was picking up first downs consistently. There were times.
All right, what he just said was such a loser way of looking at it. All right, if Sean McVay really expressed that, that is a major red flag. We didn't have enough opportunities. What are you talking about? Every game, you start off with 0 opportunities. You start off with 0 opportunities. Now, sometimes other teams can give you an opportunity to succeed by making mistakes, because that's basically all mistakes are opportunities for somebody else. But you create your own opportunities, man, and that's what New England did. New England didn't had the same amount of opportunities as the Rams had. You know what happened at the end of the game, though, and during the game, somewhat, they created their own opportunities, man, by making plays, by outthinking the Rams. It's not that you didn't have any opportunities or they took them away from you. It's that you weren't creative enough to come up with your own fucking opportunities to help your team succeed. And this is why he looked so defeated, because he was, man. He was. Sean McVay was looked at as the next coming. Like, this dude was looked at as such a wonderkin. Like, this dude is so rare to be so freaking intelligent and be so nice. He's such a rare person. And he was looked at. He was glorified. He was damn near Jesus Christ. Deified, however you said, Jesus Christ. He was just praised a lot, and that went to his head, man. So when he finally went up against a coach that would seriously test his mettle as a genius, he crumbled. And that is the most important part of this whole thing, is that Sean McVay crumbled, and now people are starting to second guess him. You got to create your own opportunities. The loser way of looking at it is people are going to give you opportunities. That's the loser way of looking at it.
Where he was just confused. They were giving him a lot of different looks. I mean, right now you have 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. You're backed up. You're trying to coordinate with the guard when to snap it.
I'm confused
and the
all
center
those
line.
arrows.
I mean, some of those guys are coming, some of them are dropping. So I'm trying to work my 2-man concept over to the left. He doesn't even see McCourty. This is a pick 6 if Van Noy doesn't touch it. Literally goes in. You can see. Look at McCourty. He's distraught because he knows he had an interception, and that's all based on what the confusion up front. And there's another situation, 3rd and 2, one of yours where you would like to go for on 4th down if you don't get it. Man coverage, they followed him across. You can see Goff say, we're good, it's man coverage. We're all good. Let's run our crossers, our pick plays. Let's bring this motion back across and let's...
Yeah, basic shit. Basic shit. So basically what you're admitting is your offense is pretty much nothing but a bunch of trickery. A bunch of low-level ways of trying to get your receivers open and for easy, cheesable yards. That's pretty much what you're saying. You don't have the wherewithal to be able to draw up a complex play and know that your team should be able to execute it during the game. Because if you watch a lot of those New England Patriot documentaries, man, the Patriot players will admit, yeah, we ran this play. We just put that play in this week, and we practiced it this week. So it's not some shit that they started the season with. They evolve. They evolve so much. And this is why teams can't figure out how to beat this team consistently. When the Giants beat New England in the Super Bowl, they only played the Giants, one time in the regular season, twice in the Super Bowl. And those were so long apart. The first time the Giants played the Patriots, they lost. Then they beat them in the Super Bowl. And then they didn't play them again until like 4 years later. They played them in the Super Bowl again. So you're talking about a whole bunch of isolated times. I'm telling you, if it was like a 3-game series, man, New England probably would beat them, man, because their ability to just change. Their ability to change. But the way the New York Giants was able to get the job done is the way that all these teams need to look at that. And they need to try to find a way to incorporate that into what they do. I mean, New England isn't unbeatable. They're not some fucking supernatural fucking life form. They're human. They can be beaten. But Sean McVay isn't as great as people keep making this dude out to be, man. And I heard nothing but... It's kind of like when with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons a couple years ago, when people were talking about how great they were and how they're superstars already and all this other shit. And then they completely flamed out in the playoffs. They let that shit go to the head, man.
Roll. He comes off the fake, and it's zone coverage. They've now dropped 8 players into coverage, and he has nowhere to throw the football. So it's 3rd and 2. Throw it away. Maybe go for it on 4th down, but he takes a big sack, and now you're.
And on a play like that, when you see a team drop back 8 people and rush 3, you have to have contingencies, man. This is why you got to be prepared, man. You have to be prepared.
Now you're 4th and 20. You can't go for it in that situation. So there are a lot of times where, like that one in particular, if he would have just thrown the ball away, maybe they can go for it on 4th and 2. I think Sean McVay probably would have in that situation. But there were some looks that they just confused Jared. He didn't know where to go with the football.
Well,
honestly, when New England drops back 8 people in the coverage and they're rushing 3, I don't know, man. I probably would have tried to run in that situation. As the quarterback, I would have tried to run. Jared Goff he's particularly fast for not a super quick quarterback. He's fast. If he started to scramble, I think he could have got off at least like a 5 to 10 yard gain, probably more depending on how bad the tackling was, or depending on how the tackling was. It depends on that to determine if he would have got more. But I mean, just running that situation. Don't stand back there trying to find somebody to throw to. There's 8 guys back there versus 3 or 4 wide receivers or 3 or 4 receivers. No, man, that's interceptions all day, man.
Mike Giardi told us yesterday in a report from Boston that they had 2 defensive play calls every time they went out on the field, the New England Patriots. One for what they lined up as, and then another one for after the helmet clicked off, and they couldn't communicate with him anymore.
A lot of people have been doing that, and that happens, but Coach McVay gives Jared Goff 3 plays when he goes in. He says, get to this motion, you have a run play, a play action, and a down the field throw. And he just couldn't get into the right one. Again, credit to the Patriots defense and Brian Flores for putting in a game plan that showed a lot of man-to-man, and then in a situation where you thought it was man, dropped in the zone. I mean, they did a really good job, and there's not enough credits going to those guys for what they did. A lot of people were saying Bill Belichick, but when you're watching that sideline, Brian Flores was communicating with everyone on what to do. I think Bill brought the defense up one time and was like, all right, we got to do this.
I'm not going to say Bill Belichick coached the whole defense. I'm also not going to say Brian Flores coached the whole defense. To be honest, what I thought was going on was Bill Belichick was giving Brian Flores the plays he wanted to run. And Brian Flores was communicating those plays to the team.
Other than that, Flores did everything. And that was a great game plan.
Yeah, that Patriots defense did a great job. Goff obviously has some things to work through. He's going to have to do it now with a brand new quarterbacks coach. Scott, his 4th in 4 years.
Yeah, you could call this the first departure in the offseason for the Rams. Quarterback coach Zach Taylor officially introduced as Bengals.
All right. So that's it, man. That was the end of it. But yeah, man, I just wanted to dust off this topic and bring it back up again because I'm interested to see how the Rams are going to be. And I just did a way too early NFL season prediction, and I believe I had the Rams go 13-3. I believe it was 13-3. And I believe they're going to be just as effective as they were last year. Probably not as much, but they're going to be just as effective because, during the regular season, I mean, they can roll in the regular season, but I really want to see what they're going to do during the playoffs. All right, that's it.